Welcome to the Besties in the Books podcast. I'm Liz.
And I'm Ashley. And today we will be wrapping up our Harry Potter mini episode series. Yes, we'll be giving it
Here we are.
Our final thoughts, telling you guys, the people, what we thought overall of this journey that we've been on with you. Talk about the movies a little bit. Which ones, we made it through at least. Because we might not have. And, how our first Minisode series went overall.
Yeah, what are we going to be doing moving forward? If you guys have been listening to the series, you know that we're about to embark upon our Twilight journey. So, what did we learn from this experience? What are we going to change moving into the next mini episode series? But for today, just talk about what we're going to do today. It's going to be, we're planning on this episode being spoiler free. Yeah. We'll let you know if we're going to spoil something from, the Harry Potter series. We'll do our best. You might have to earmuffs it for a second, but
I mean, I feel like if you're listening, you've
made it this far.
Read it, watched it, the gist,
Or you don't care because you're literally on episode 8.
Or it'll just like us, it'll go in one ear out the other.
Yeah, exactly. So just to recap, because this is our final episode, we weren't allowed to read these books because we came from super strict kind of Christian households where the magic and the witchcraft and such things were not allowed.
Forbidden.
So that's why we embarked upon this journey as adults. We're both in our mid-30s, and so I feel like that lens is really important to remember when looking at the series as a whole, but also what our wrap-up kind of thoughts about it are.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to give you our star review for the whole series together. So we, in each episode, we did our star review just for that book. We're going to do it all, if we were to rate the whole series. We're going to talk a little bit about, the quizzes that we took to determine which houses we would be in, because you got to do that.
Yeah, as one does, of course.
As one does, it's a rite of Harry Potter passage, I feel. Yep. And then, we're going to talk about the movies. We're going to talk about a little bit about kind of the fandom response, I think, maybe.
Yes.
To this series, because I think it's funny and important to address.
Yeah.
And then we'll talk a little bit more about Twilight at the end, just to let you guys know what our plans are. So before we get into that, we just want to say thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much, you guys, for joining us in this extra bonus 8-week journey, along with our typical Tuesday episodes. But thank you so much. Thank you for taking time out of your day and your book to just hear our thoughts and see our experience through this first time read. Everybody has a different take. Everybody's going to feel differently, but thank you. Thank you for following along. Make sure to follow, like, and subscribe anywhere you like to listen to your favorite podcasts, including YouTube, because you get it visually over there. And don't forget, we will be having another bonus series. We have a lot of childhood books that we didn't get to read, so buckle up. We got a lot. We got a lot of hot takes coming through. Choo choo. You can also find us on Instagram and TikTok at Besties in the Books podcast, and that's where we'll be. So thank you so much. Come hang out. Come chat.
Yep. So, you guys already, we only have announced that we're reading Twilight, a few days ago? Yeah. And, you guys are going nuts over that.
I was not expecting that response. I feel like I was expecting that response with Harry Potter, and it was kind of oh, cool. Yeah. Twilight, whoa. Way bigger of a response. So excited for us. Some people are reading it also for the first time. Some people are rereading it for the 19th time. Mm-hmm. We got people excited. You guys are excited. We're excited. Making us excited.
Yeah. So we're going into it. Just
excited.
Super pumped. Yeah. Excited. Yeah. How many times can we say that? So, okay. Let's just kick this off with how would we rate Harry Potter as a whole? This is not taking into account anything other than the books. Just the 7 books. How would you star rate the series?
This is hard. I've been thinking a lot about it back and forth, and it's tricky. It's a tricky one. As a child, can I say that first?
Say as a child, and then as you right now adult. As
a child, I think a solid 4 stars.
I would agree, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, because there you go.
There you go.
As an adult, I really do honestly go back from 3 to 4 stars because I understand where the fandom is coming from, in that it's a fun time. You get really sucked into a different world. This book was written beginning 20 to 30 years ago. So
that's crazy.
That's pretty crazy to think about. But for me as an adult, like I've read plenty of books in this children's category that I just feel have done a better job specifically regarding character development. So, and I also personally didn't like the redundancy. Now, I think I should clarify this. I almost feel like I made a mistake going into this series, feeling like maybe it's my mistake, maybe it's the way it reads. The entire point is a good versus evil, good triumphs, how this kid takes down such an evil, terrible person. When I think, if I went into it thinking differently, maybe it would have helped. I don't think that's really what the entire point of this series is about. I think it is just about a journey and a kid experiencing magic school, and learning different things. And I narrowed it down too much into one simple thing, as opposed to just go and enjoy each book for the ride that it is. And definitely as a kid, I would have enjoyed it more because I would have cared about the little side quests and the little dating and the feelings and growing into your feelings and what that looks like. But as an adult, I'm just like, I don't care about any of this stuff. So it's definitely two different reviews, two different lenses to take into consideration. As an adult, yes, we were just getting through it after a while because it was just too redundant for me.
Yeah. So. Yeah. I mean, I would rate the series, if I read it as a kid, as it was coming out, I would have rated it probably about a 4-star as well. I agree. Because I feel like it would have had enough. Yeah. It would have had enough to satisfy me as a kid, Yeah. Did it have enough to satisfy me as an adult without the nostalgia playing into it, without the previous lens of reading it as a kid and coming back to it and picking up more things the older you get? No, it would have been it's a solid 3-star for me. Yeah. Nowhere near life-changing, personally. Yeah. And I would say, just to play devil's advocate for you, I did not go into this series thinking that it was going to just be an epic quest of good versus evil and defeating the villain. Yeah. I truly was like, because it has gotten compared, I feel like, on social media a lot as like a kid's version of like Fourth Wing. It's like a school that you go to, and so I was going into it thinking, okay, that's probably what a lot of it's going to be. And I still didn't enjoy it very much. Yeah. And so, I feel like, we've had a lot of people kind of coming out of the woodwork to explain to us like the motives of characters and their deeper meanings almost. And I appreciate that because I feel like, I don't want to say we missed it. I feel like there wasn't enough in the books to intrigue me about the characters for me to rate it higher. But I also am not, as someone who's new to this fandom and does not have any sort of like nostalgia or like any interest in it outside of reading the books for this podcast, to go do additional research to fill in the blanks. Yeah. Does that make sense? Like, totally. And I feel like a lot of the people who are commenting not only really enjoy these books, but really enjoy the movies, really enjoy the lore, have probably read them multiple times. I didn't like it enough to do that. Why would I?
And I think that's fair and that's valid. Yeah. I mean, we should let's just talk about it right now. It feels like a good time as ever. Listen, you guys, I'm so happy for everybody who enjoyed this book, especially because series, just 7 books. 8 movies. It's huge. The franchise is outstanding and it's amazing and I love it for what it is. And I wanted so badly to be a part of that. Yeah. Same, and maybe because I don't know if it's because I was so hyped up, where sometimes it doesn't always meet expectations. Yeah. And it just didn't. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Everybody has opinions. Some people are going to it's a ride or die. And I have books and series that I'm obsessed with.
Yeah.
And I'm comparing it to that in a way that, okay, as soon as we finished Throne of Glass, I missed those characters. I wanted to pick it up and reread it again. I'm forcing myself not to because I got other books I need to read. And this series just didn't do it for me, you know? Yeah. So, and I think that's okay, you guys. And listen. We're gonna poke fun at things. We're gonna roast things, whether we like the things or we don't. We joke about, we make fun of Throne of Glass all the time, and ACOTAR and Fourth Wing and all the things. And that's just the kind of podcast that we are. We're gonna make fun of ourselves. We're gonna make fun of everything because we just don't take life that seriously. And that's okay if anybody does out there. But just know what you're signing up for when you listen to us.
Yeah. And, you know, I have a tendency to be a little sarcastic. I don't know if you guys have picked that up. It's been brought to our attention that perhaps we're not the most accurate.
We're not. And we never claimed to be.
No, exactly. And so I think that that's something important to remember. You know, I, strangely enough, you know, come from a journalism background where accuracy is really important. These characters are not real.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think that that's something important to remember. When I was really kind of mulling this over, you know, I'm like, yeah, you know, we're going to misspeak. We're going to accidentally say, you know, names of someone else when we meant someone else. We're going to miss things because we only read these books one time. Like, and even with books that we've read multiple times, we would probably make errors too, right? It's we're not sitting there trying to fact check everything and make sure that everything's 1,000% correct all the time. Because that's not our style.
Our 5-sentence summaries are like a joke. Like there's a triangle involved. Like we're just trying to have fun with this stuff, you guys. We're not. If you want an annotated, summarized, like line by line, there are some amazing podcast channels out there and YouTube channels out there for you guys. We're just having some fun, and we are just reading it for the first time, so we are going to make mistakes because we haven't. This isn't our 19th reread, so this is just our. I feel like other than the hype, we tried to go into this very unbiasedly. If anything, we were in the bias of liking it, you know?
Yeah, we wanted to like it.
We're just as shocked as you guys that we feel the way that we feel. And we had people critiquing on how fast we were reading. Give me a break. Honestly, because I listen to everything at 2 times speed, and I have plenty of 5-star audibles. Yeah. I read fast. We fast read everything, and we have 5-star reads.
And not only that, like another thing I was thinking too about the whole like fast reading or like, you know, quote unquote rushing through things thing too, is that it's like, if I love a book, I'm reading that thing fast.
Yeah,
because I love it so much that I'm going to sit there and I'm going to pry my eyes awake all night. Yeah. And I'm going to read it until I possibly cannot read anymore because I just feel so passionately about it. So I don't know that like if you're enjoying it or if you're like whatever, it doesn't matter as long as you're absorbing the information in a way that you want to. I don't think it really matters. I read books I love just as fast as I would read, you know, like this when I was trying to get through Goblet of Fire. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
First of all, our 5-sentence summary is literally a joke. It's literally a joke. It's not just like, oh, it's a joke. No, it's supposed to be stupid and funny. Yeah. So there's that. It's really hard to summarize an 800-page book in 5 sentences, guys.
Yeah, we're gonna miss stuff. We're literally just trying to find the only, like, you know, main things that move the story fully along.
Yeah. So there's that. But then also when I was really thinking about it and about how, you know, a lot of people were commenting that we're making, you know, a lot of errors or whatever. Or speaking badly about characters, like when I joked specifically about Dobby dying.
Liz is not a fan of the house elves, guys.
I'm not a fan of house elves. I don't care. I stand behind it. I was not sad that Dobby died. I will never be sad about that. But here's the thing. It's like I feel like we're really fortunate in the way that we're podcasting about ideas and characters that aren't real. So we don't have to be careful to be accurate. We don't have to be careful to respect someone who has passed.
Because they're not real.
Because they're not real. And that's it. And that's that on that. And that's how I feel about it.
Yeah. And we make fun of characters that die in our books that we love too. You know? So, yeah. You know?
It is what it is. You know, it's like if you want to have a moment of silence for a character that really upset you when they pass, we totally 100% respect that. Will we still probably roast them if they suck? Yes. And I will not lose any sleep at night over it.
Yeah.
That's just that. Okay, so do you have anything else to add?
I do want to say, like, thank you for all your support. More so than not, everybody was in support of us. And some people were joking, totally. Like, I respect your opinion, even though you're wrong. Like, I love that. It's fine.
Yeah,
because
that's great.
We're all going to love different things. We're all going to hate different things. And we don't even hate this. We're just kind of like, we're just let down.
Underwhelmed.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
But something's come up a couple times, in our comments that aren't happy with our feelings on this book. And it's that you guys rushed through it and it made it seem like a chore. Well...
It kind of was.
It became a chore. It did. Yeah, so you're reading that right. You're reading, because if you look back at if you really want to take the time and digest each one of our mini episodes, we were loving the first 3 books. I want to say Goblet of Fire was 4, right? Goblet of Fire is what did it to us. The first 2 and 3, or 1 and 2, we're like, oh yeah, we're loving this. 3, we're still loving. Goblet of Fire kind of took the wind out of our sails. And then 5, I gave a 5-star. Like, I was having a good time again. And then it just... So, yes, it 100% became a chore that we just had to do. And we even said in the last episode, would we have continued on if we didn't have to do this for the podcast? No. We wanted to.
And we'll talk about that a little bit more, too, with our movie experience.
Yeah. Yeah, we will.
But... I think that's really important to bring up because, like I said, I mean, I feel like it gives kind of a negative connotation for reading at the speed that you prefer, which I think is kind of silly because let us read however fast.
We just did Akawar last week, and you read that in 2-3 days, and that book is substantially larger
and adult.
Ate it up, and you ate it up because you love it. So if anything, it took me longer to read these books because I had to force myself to read them.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Some of the books that I have disliked the most, like not even Harry Potter will say, but just like any, in general. It's like the hockey romance book I read. I don't know that it's ever taken me an entire month to read a book like that was like not a textbook or something. Yeah. And like literally it took me an entire month to get through that book.
Yeah.
So you never know. You never know like how long it's going to take you. It's all different.
And I think this is a learning lesson. That it's all right if we don't all like the same stuff. But we're just here to have a good time. We're just having some fun. And you guess what, you guys? I have to reread them anyways. So don't worry.
Oh my God. I totally forgot about that.
I'm reading them with my 9-year-old. And her teacher's also reading them too. And she doesn't want to listen to him. She wants to listen to me read them in the British accent. So don't worry. I will continue rereading them again. And...
They're going to haunt you forever.
Maybe I'll let you guys know in a couple years when we finish them if I change my mind. Because seeing it through her eyes is 100% different. That's why my star rating would be higher as a kid. And I wouldn't be surprised if for her it's a 5-star. But it's going to grow with her. And I'm not speeding through them with her. We're going to take a break after the second one. And I want to read Wizard of Oz with her. So, kind of give that one a go because it's been a million years.
Maybe I'll read that one with you guys now that Wicked is getting ready to come out.
Yeah. So that's our defense against the dark arts over here, if you will. Circling back. Not that we need to defend ourselves, but it was just some funny stuff we wanted to bring up, especially if you're listening to this and plan on listening to our future mini episodes because they have huge fandoms. And we knew going into this, people were going to come at us, and that's all right. We got Twilight, you guys. We got Twilight. My sister-in-law lives in Forks. Oh, she's told me we got Twilight fans out there, and it is what it is. If we don't like it, don't come at it. I mean, you can come at us, but it's not going to affect our opinion.
No, it's not. We're still going to say whatever we want. Sorry, not sorry.
And if you don't want to hear it, if you don't want to hear something negative, then it might not be a podcast for you. That's okay. I wish you all the best out there.
Yes, exactly. I was shopping for Halloween decor yesterday. I won't go far into this, but I saw quite a few Twilight shirts. So this is a perfect example. Guys, the way that I want to wear Twilight shirts... Like, the way that I want to be able to go to Hot Topic and buy a hilarious Twilight shirt and wear it. Yeah. Like, because we've never read them,
same thing with Harry Potter. I was, so excited to find some, small businesses. Cool and now I'm like, I don't want to.
Yeah. But, so it's not like we're going into it with a negative mindset. I'm going into it like, I want to love Twilight, even if it's in an ironic way.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
And be a part of this fandom. And if we end up not liking it or whatever, and we end up roasting it more than we're not, then it's because that's how we really feel. Like, we're not trying to go either way about it. You know?
If anything, we missed out in our childhood. We're trying to relive and recreate what we missed out on. And if it didn't hit it for us, it didn't hit it. You know?
So
it's unfortunate for us. Good for you who liked it out there, whether as a first time read as adults or not. We're jealous, but not jealous enough to try again, even though I have to.
Not. Yeah. That's so funny.
So don't worry. Okay. Well, Liz, let's get going here.
Yeah. Let's just do it. Okay, so just to wrap up like all the little loose ends we've got going on with Harry Potter. So we decided to do, you know, the infamous very long quiz, guys. I'm sorry. Yeah. Like, what's going on with everything Harry Potter related being so long? Like, I don't want to take an online quiz that's like 1,000 questions. But like
everything.
Seriously.
You're like, I don't want to be doing this anymore.
I know. Like, oh my God, I'm tired, Grandpa. Yeah, it's like okay, so anyway, the point is, so we took the quizzes. We're both Ravenclaws, just in case you guys couldn't piece 2 and 2 together on that.
I think we're the most Ravenclaw that you could claw at. I don't know. And the crows. We did it for the crows.
Oh my God, the crows.
Crow adjacent. Look at that.
That's funny. I didn't even realize that. Okay.
Yeah. So why don't you tell us about Ravenclaw, Liz?
Yeah, I just looked up some basic stuff or whatever about it. So, quote unquote, Ravenclaw is typically known as the smart house, but this is a bit reductive of what the Ravenclaw traits actually are. Ravenclaw values things like learning, wisdom, wit, and intellect, and the students who are sorted into this house are typically aligned in that vision. So, very like intellectual, but they say also like a little bit eccentric to logical, rational, out of the box thinkers. I feel like that's pretty spot on.
Yeah, and from what I remember from the movies that had Luna Lovegood, I always connected with her. It didn't like come across to me in the books as easily as it did. Well, a little bit, because her dad's the journalist, tabloid guy. But I always resonated with her weirdness, because I'm definitely weird.
Yeah, she's like she's eccentric. It's like they said, you know, more of that kind of like an independent thinker, kind of beats to your own drum, but like is an intellectual. That's kind of what it seems like. I saw this really funny video. I don't know if I had tagged you in it or whatever, but it was just a reel that someone had made of all the different houses, and it was like, you know, those things that's like, it's like a gate that closes like across like a road or whatever. That's like kind of hard. You have to either jump over it or you have to go under it. Okay. Did I send you this video?
No.
Okay, so
I don't look at it yet.
Okay, so you have like 4 people who are like going up to this like gate, trying to figure out how to go over.
Yes.
Yeah. And so you have all the different houses like that, you know, you've got one, I don't know, I can't remember who's who, but you have one that's like going under it, and you have one that's like jumping over it, and you have one that's doing like a backflip over it, and then like the Ravenclaw just like literally just walks around it like normal. Yeah. And I was like, I get it. Yeah. That's us, 100%. Like, why are you doing that? Well, I think about, too,
Hufflepuffs. My daughter's a Hufflepuff, and she actually has a robe now. She's into it. She's liking it. I'm not a warm and fuzzy, emotional Hufflepuff, whatever the descriptions are, you know? I'm not, as you can tell, we're not very warm and fuzzy people. Not really. Gryffindor, they seem athletic. That's not me. Like, I'll get it done, you know? I do the things. I'm not, like, not able to kick a ball, but, like, I don't know. They're also like really courageous. I don't know if I am. Yeah. Like, you know?
I'm willing to admit it. Like,
and then Slytherin, you know, I don't know. They're good at scheming and things like that, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that's not either of us either. So I feel like it really fits. The shoe fits. Mm-hmm. The claw fits.
The crow fits. I just picture a crow in a little outfit. Crow fits.
Crow fits. Cute. Cute. I like it.
Now that we've gotten that out of the way, and you guys know what houses we're in, since you were obviously all on the edge of your seat wanting to know about that.
Let us, if you're watching the YouTube comment, let us know what house you're in.
Yeah.
Why not? Yeah. Let us know. Let's find out. Represent Ravenclaw.
We're going to have people come out and be like, you don't deserve to be in a house.
That's fine. That's fine. I'll be in the doghouse out back. That's fine too. So like, you don't even get to go to the school. That's fine. That's all right. Yeah. Okay.
So, all right. If you had to pick, like, one favorite thing, like, it doesn't necessarily have to be a part, but it can be a part. Like, one favorite part, one favorite thing about the series, and one thing that you hated the most, what would those things be?
So, for me, and Harry Potter, my favorite thing about this series is the way it inspired a generation, if not generations. The way it brought everyone together, except those of us who weren't allowed to be.
Except for the outcasts.
Except for us, the outcasts, and in the doghouse, no houses.
Yeah.
Minus us, and those affected. But like, it was a beautiful thing to see.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Love inside jokes. Wish to be a part of one day.
Yeah.
You know, but I do love that it became this monster that it is, and there's even theme parks for it now. And I've been there, and it is awesome. Before I read and watched any of the movies, my friend Courtney took me, and I'm like, this place is so cool. I know nothing, but they did a great job. And I drank the butterbeer, and it was delicious. But yeah, I love the way it inspired a generation. Whatever got kids reading, I freaking love that. Totally. You know, freaking love that. So good for you, Harry Potter-ness. And then what I didn't like about it is just the repetitive structuring of the book series. Like I said, I can understand now if I was a kid having one released a year, I would like it because it would feel like I'm going through the school year with the kids. So it would feel much different than as adults reading it, you know, all of them within 2 or 3 months. So, and then, because then I'm nitpicking. Then I'm going picking through. And then I'm like, oh, okay, here we go. Roller coaster, whiplash, you know, over and over.
Yeah.
So there you go. What about you? Got to find something that you liked. There's got to be something in there.
No, I think that my favorite part of the series would have to be the, like, little kind of, like, wrap-up tie-in that Harry would have with Dumbledore. Kind of throughout the series. So even once Dumbledore, you know, is no more, you still, I feel like, get those through like flashbacks and whatever. And I liked that because to me, it's like those little bits of, you know, fantasy coming through to mirror reality, which we've talked about appreciating a lot. And so I think that was probably my favorite part because those parts were actually meaningful to me. And sometimes like with those books, I would struggle to find things that were meaningful to me, especially as an adult. And so I think that would definitely be my favorite part. Of the series. I think that my least favorite part of this series is, honestly, I think how long they are. Because I love me a good book that's long. Like, if I'm loving this book, I never want it to end. It could be 1 billion pages long. It's like exactly, we keep bringing up Throne of Glass because it's YA. But it's like, we could literally just read Throne of Glass on a loop until the end of time and probably never get tired of it, okay?
Yeah.
It's like this idea that I feel like, you know, and I'll even call it out, even though we're huge members of, you know, the Lord of the Rings fandom. The Hobbit didn't need to be 3 movies, okay?
No. Yeah, no. I totally agree. That was the first, when I walked out of that first Hobbit movie, I was like, why did that just end on a cliffhanger? Like, why is this going to continue? Should have been 1 movie. That's the smallest book of all the, if you want to say 4 books. Yeah, you know?
Totally.
Come on now.
I know. So
as much as I love it, sometimes you need to cut it down.
Just cut it off. Yeah, cut the apron strings. It needed to be much shorter. I feel like I would have enjoyed it a lot more if a lot of the fluff was cut out, or what I perceive to be fluff, and they were just more fast-paced. I feel like I would have enjoyed it a lot more because it wouldn't be, you know, kind of ties into what you're saying, like this, now we have to go through the whole school year.
Yeah, we got to go to Dursleys again, then we got to escape from the Dursleys, and we got to go to school year,
Well, it's like I was telling my husband, because we were kind of watching, you know, some of the movies together, it's like, I really would have enjoyed the Triwizard Tournament, for example, if the book would have been more about the Triwizard Tournament. But I feel like it was like just a little tiny like blip each challenge of the tournament rather than like being what the majority of the book was about. You know what I mean? So I think that was my issue. My main
nothing
issue.
Was like fully committed to. There's a lot of side things going on.
Too many side quests.
And then it makes you, as a fantasy reader, you're always thinking, oh, this is going to tie in like each little piece, and it just doesn't. So you can't like filter things out as well. So
yeah, exactly.
I don't know.
So, okay, so then who was your, when all is said and done, who was your favorite character and your least favorite character in this whole series, if you had to choose?
You know, it's hard. It was harder than I thought to pick a favorite.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to go purely off vibes then. And I'm going to say the Weasley twins because I feel like I got to know them and they're fun. And I was really happy for them and starting their own business and the way that they took their business and applied it to things that would actually help against let's say the war, and that was the only death that I was truly affected by. Was bummed out for them.
Yeah,
so,
totally.
Yeah, so they were my favorite throughout, but to me, it makes me frustrated that a pretty small side characters I liked the most, you know. I wanted to be Team Hermione. I actually thought I was going to love Hagrid just based off of watching the movies a few years ago. But reading this, I was like, oh, I don't like him. He is very irresponsible and puts the kids in very precarious situations.
Yeah, he's kind of like an alcoholic too. I don't know. Yeah, he was a lot better in the movies, I think.
Yes. Yeah. And that's adults reading it, Kids are going to think like that's cool, or whatever. Totally. Not pick up those little things that we're taking a fine-tooth comb with. And then my least favorite character, which that was hard too, because there was a lot. But a lot of them obviously are necessary. So I really had to sit and think, okay, who's like the least likable, obviously, who's like one of the best villains I think of all time now is Umbridge. So I'm not counting her because I actually had a visceral reaction to her, that was good to have.
Well, that's different. You not liking a character because you're not supposed to like the character because they're bad is different. Yeah.
So I kind of went with who was the most annoying that I could do without. Moaning Myrtle. Can't stand her. Yeah. Which, again, I don't think you're supposed to be able to stand her, but wow.
Drove me nuts. Too much.
Yeah.
Way too much. Okay, so if I had to pick a favorite character once the whole series was all said and done, I think I probably would pick Snape.
Oh.
Yeah, because I feel like he was the most interesting. Like, he had the most layers.
Yeah,
I feel,
for sure.
Especially with like going and getting his backstory, and everything with how he's been protecting Harry because he was in love with Lily, but he was teased by, Harry's dad and like all this. I feel like, and he's playing this double agent he's playing the long game. That's super interesting. Yeah. I feel like his character wasn't developed enough for me to become attached to him. So I wasn't really that sad when he died. I wasn't sad at all when he died. Like, it sucks, but it is what it is. But I would say if I had to pick a favorite character, that would have been my favorite character after the whole series is over. My least favorite character, and I will die on this hill, and everyone can come for me. I don't care. Honestly, it would be a tie between all of the house elves. I cannot stand them. They're so cringy. They're so whiny. They are like the audio voices for all of them. Like the voice actor's great. He did a great job. Don't get me wrong. But like they're terrible. Like everything about them is terrible. And so, if I had to pick one out of the three, it would probably be Creature. I think I liked him the least.
I liked him the most.
That's what people say. Yeah. He just grated my nerves big time.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I could see that.
So that's it. House elves. No.
Yeah.
It's a no from me.
House elves for the lose.
Yep. So, okay. We definitely want to address this just a little bit. We talked about it a little bit already, so we don't need to go super in depth about it. Since we missed out on these as a kid, do you think, reading it now as an adult through that adult lens, do you think that the ban was warranted or like, how going into it thinking that it might have, I don't want to say taboo things, but I feel like that's the best way to say it, like taboo things, and it actually changed our perception now, you know what I mean, of reading it. Like we're expecting to go into it to read something that might be a bit controversial, and then we just read a kid's book that's not controversial, in my opinion, really at all. And do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like
I think that these parents that were in an uproar about this book should have just gave it a read and would have seen that it's fine.
Chill out and do some reading.
Dude, chill out, bro. Chill out. It did not warrant a ban. Yeah, there's a little bit of witchcraft in there, but it's fake. It's make-believe. So get over yourself. Why would you not ban Lord of the Rings and other magic systems in the household?
Not just that. No, it's like that's the part that gets me. I just have to say it because it drives me crazy. It's like, I completely agree with you. Like, yeah, there's witchcraft. Yeah, whatever. But like, okay, The Lord of the Rings, The Chronicles of Narnia. We were just talking about it. The Wizard of Oz. You know what I mean? Every Disney movie.
Every Disney movie. Hocus Pocus was allowed in my house. Like, what?
But seriously, it's like The Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, Cinderella. Name
Spells.
one that does not have, a spell, magic, witchcraft of some kind. You know, it's like intro to Beauty and the Beast. What is that? Witch. Snow White.
Yeah.
Witch. It's like, I think that's the thing that just gets me about this is this like really weird singling out of Harry Potter specifically when literally everything I used to watch as a kid, pretty much. Had some kind of magic in it, right? Because that's what made it interesting. That's why we were fantasy kids. That's what we liked to watch. And our parents let it happen. And that's great. I'm glad that they did because I have a love for a lot of things, but it's just weird that this one thing was like, not this one thing, but this one thing was so bad. You know? Yeah. So that's bizarre. I also think though, like I don't feel like I worded my question very well, but like I feel like going into it thinking like, oh wow, there was such an uproar about this. It was, you know, not just like banned in our households, but formally banned in a lot of schools, etc.
Yeah. Libraries.
It's
having
like
to get a parent's note to say you're allowed to check it out.
Yeah. I think that in conjunction with the hype of how big this fandom is, really set our expectations a bit higher for what we were going to read than what the reality is.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
There wasn't even, like, until later as much magic involved as I thought there was going to be. Like, it was just it's just an academia novel, you know?
Yeah.
Series. Like, a kid going to school with some, you know, dark things at play.
Yeah,
some dark people.
Mm-hmm.
So
I think that, you know, that about covers it, like, as far as that goes. You know, I don't think there's a whole much left to say except for, it has witchcraft. Yeah, it has, you know, like, some dark stuff in it. But what doesn't?
In fantasy.
In the fantasy or sci-fi genre in a lot of ways, you know? So, okay. So then let's talk about the movies.
All right, guys. Let's go. Movie time. Guess how far Liz and I got into the 8 movie series, which I will remind you are on average 3 hours per movie.
I was actually surprised. A couple of them were like only 2.5. I was like, that's nice.
Oh, average. Some of them are more than 3. That's why I say. Okay.
I made it through. Okay, so I watched 1, 2, and 3, and then I made it about 3/4 of the way through movie 4 before I threw in the towel.
Oh, you didn't even finish it. Yeah, no. I finished 4 last night, and I will say I did start 5. Because I had nothing better to do when I was going to sleep last night, and I wanted something to fall asleep to, and also that was my favorite book, so I wanted to give it a quick peek. So I think I might have gotten an hour into it.
Okay,
yeah, that sounds generous. 45 minutes probably, and I was like, yeah, this is because I think I remember this being my favorite one when I did watch it. So still feel like that was my favorite book. This will be my favorite movie. Will I finish it? I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, it says something when you turn on a movie and you have to look at how long is this movie going to be.
Yeah.
Guys.
Yeah. Or just like for me to just stop a movie halfway through and then just like be totally 100% fine not continuing on.
Yeah. Just like, when do I have to?
Yeah. So
it's unfortunate.
Like, because we had every intention of like watching all of the movies before doing this podcast. And both of us kind of were just collectively were like, I have no cares to do that.
We've been trying for weeks to do this. Yeah. This isn't let's get this all done in one weekend. We've been trying, then it stacked up, then we're like, oh no. Yeah. We will have to try to do this all weekend. We don't want to. We have precious little time every time that we have time. Yeah. And we couldn't. We couldn't do it. We tried.
I had to watch the season finale of Fallout, okay? Like, listen.
I feel like that said it all, though. Like, we tried, you know?
Yeah, we definitely did. And I will, okay, so these are my thoughts on the movies, okay? 1, 2, and 3, and half of 4, we'll say. So, movies 1 and 2, okay, so movie 1, it was cozy, it was cute. Did I love it? Not really, but, like, at the same time, I could see how it would fit into, like, that genre of, like, if I would have seen it when I was a kid, I would have, you know, it would be one of those nostalgia movies I'd watch now and enjoy.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, so cool. Movie 2, I didn't like. I thought it was corny, and I was texting Ashley that, like, okay, my favorite thing about it, and this is what'll stand out to me about it forever, is, you know, Dumbledore's Phoenix Fox. It literally looked like one of those, like, Muppet puppets from, like, the Labyrinth.
Yeah, yes.
I I couldn't stop laughing.
It took me out for a second because it was the only thing that was like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, no, absolutely not.
And
so,
I love me Jim Henson. We love
too!
Labyrinth, but it
The
just didn't
Labyrinth's
fit in for some reason.
It's like, what is this? Dark Crystal all of a sudden? I don't know. Yeah. So, movie 2, not a fan. Movie 3, I will say, out of all of them that I watched, I enjoyed that one the most because I felt like, it's like you were saying, the cinematography got way better. Mm-hmm. And I feel like it got to that level of like, you know, sorry to compare it to Lord of the Rings, guys, but it's a fandom that we're both like so big into. Like I could, you know, it's like talk about watching movies and like basically DNFing movies, which is so funny. My husband used that term for the first time last night. He's like, "Are you DNFing the Harry Potter movies?" That's what he said. And I was like, "Oh my God, that's awesome." But, you know, comparing it, I could sit down for a day, and I did this. I try to do it every Christmas and watch all the Lord of the Rings in a day if I can stay awake and I have the time. Just be a couch potato and watch them all day long. Like, and I love, because it's like everything, right? It's the costumes, it's the scenery, it's the battle scenes, it's the music, it's like a whole experience. And I felt like going into the third Harry Potter movie, I could see how, if you're part of that fandom, it could feel the same way.
Totally.
Like, seeing the castle and like all of its glory, that was really cool. Like when, you know, Harry's riding Buckbeak and he's like going over the lake or whatever, and you can see the castle and all the scenery in the background. I was like, wow, that's really cool. Yeah. Like, I love that. Like, what a cool fantasy movie. And so, to me, that was, you know, I really enjoyed that movie. I wouldn't say that I would probably watch it again, but, like, I enjoyed it for what it was in that moment, for sure. And I could see how people enjoy it. And then movie 4, I kept falling asleep. I don't know. It wasn't doing it for me. So, you know, it was a roller coaster. But will I finish them someday? Maybe. Yeah. Possibly. But I'm not putting it at the top of my list. Yeah. It's kind of like one of those book series, you know, like where you read the first couple and you're like, they're okay. Like maybe someday I'll come back around to it. But if I don't, I'll be fine.
Well, like I get why people can be attached to this, but it's just not for me. Yeah. I mean, like we said, to go back to how much we love Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter and Hobbit, excuse me. Hobbit didn't need to be 4 movies. I DNF'd that series. I stopped. I don't even know. I might have watched the second one at home leisurely, but then I'm like, I can't. There's no reason why this needs to take this long. And we love it.
You know, I went to the midnight showing of every single one, like every Lord of the Rings, every Hobbit, and it's just, some things just don't, you can tell the story in a good, concise way and have it be shorter. Like, you just can do it, you know? Anyways,
so for me, so I was doing a tally. We planned on having this video be totally different. We were going to do like a book versus movie, like each one, our favorite things about each one. And since we were not able to do that, we don't need to do that. But I will say, in my tallies, movie 1 versus movie 2, I preferred the book over it. So we had a good time with those books. So I didn't love the movies. I didn't connect. Again, if I was a kid, maybe. My daughters watched it with me. They liked the book better as well. I believe, if I remember correctly, they did have different directors, or at least a director change out. And I think that's why 3 got more dark and fantasy and different cinematography, probably a bigger budget, multiple things, you know? And then also, at one point, Dumbledore gets switched out. So, but I really liked that they were able to keep the kids, you know, Hermione, Ron, and Harry throughout. Like, that is so hard to do. So that was cool.
I didn't mention this. I did appreciate, the cast that they have is good. Yeah. Like, and I feel like the actors that you have come in, like...
I don't love Harry's acting. Daniel Radcliffe. I think he gets better later, but as a kid, I didn't love the kid acting.
I'm talking more so about, like, the adult actors. The
the adult actors were great. Yeah, they had great adult actors.
I love
Alan Rickman. Hello.
Yeah, he's great. Yeah. Well, I loved what's her name? Is it Emma Thompson who plays Trelawney? The crazy.
No, Emma Thompson is Hermione, isn't it?
Is that her name? Wait,
what's her name? Yeah. I know who you're talking about though. Oh, I love her. They had a lot of great high up there actresses and actors.
Well, now I want to know what her name is because it's going to drive me nuts.
And freaking Sirius Black was Gary Oldman.
Yeah, he was
Yeah, they had
great.
some great actors in there. What's her name?
I don't know. It's gonna.
Is it Emma Thompson? Wait, what's Hermione's name?
I didn't think it was. I thought it was.
Maybe
Emma
it's Emma
Watson.
Thompson. Emma Watson?
Yeah,
Oh my
Emma
gosh.
Watson is. Yeah, so I think I was right.
So maybe it's Emma Thompson.
But she's the one who.
She's
I
great.
don't want to give anything away. She's the one who's in freaking Love Actually with Alan Rickman.
Oh yeah,
Emma
for sure.
Thompson. So her playing
Yeah.
Trelawney was so freaking funny to me because she's such a like beautiful, refined woman, right? And then you see her as this crazy lady. I really, really liked that a lot with her glasses and everything. I was like, okay, that's cool. Yeah, so I feel like the adult cast was really, really great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And then so movie 3, I think I was kind of like, I liked them both. And then 4 was Goblet of Fire. And I was like, okay, they're going to sort it out in the movie. Because that was the book that Liz and I disliked the most. And apparently a lot of people were like, oh yeah. We didn't want to tell you guys, but that one's terrible. Yeah. The movie was a mess also. I don't know how to fix it. It was just too many things and it was just messy and I was just like, what? I first was trying to watch it and I told Liz like that was like a fever dream. Every time I woke up, something wildly different was happening. So I literally restarted it the next day and I'm like, oh no, that's just how it is. So that was bad. But when I started movie 5, it is Goblet of Fire when it became PG-13. I was like, ooh, dun dun dun. And then it continues. So movie 5 was all of that for like drug use and sexual context. I was like, what? What is this gonna be? So interesting. So like I said, I got 45 minutes into it. I was into it. I'll finish it leisurely and I will eventually watch the movies again, like I said. But I'm more interested in it now. I think it does pick up better, but it's also not on the top of my list. So, I think the movies from then on out, probably I might like more than I did the books.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, probably. I could see that for sure.
Because you feel it. It helps you visualize. It does. And then it's so weird because most of the time we like the books better than the movies, but almost these movies are helping propel the fandom because it's helping you visualize things and connect. And then it also weeds out some of the fluff. And then it gives you like some extra context on some things you were kind of confused about maybe or vice versa. So
Yeah, I would agree. And like I said, I think I said this in the previous episode, a lot of the adults that I have talked to who have read this at the first time as adults said that they watched the movies first. And I think, honestly, that might be... Like, that might be key. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, they watched the movies first and were really into those, had that already in their brain, and then supplemented it with the books, So,
like where they wanted more.
Yeah. So,
And we were left wanting less.
We were left wanting less. Do less. Yeah. So my advice to any adults looking to embark upon the journey would be, watch all the movies first, I think. I think and I've only watched 3.5 movies, so take that with a grain of salt. Maybe they don't improve, but I would think that they do, just based on what I saw in the direction that they were going and what I've heard from other people. So that would be my advice would be go into it with realistic expectations, watch the movies first, and then just see what happens. Maybe even just, because it's like you were saying, we're used to book series where you end on a cliffhanger that's so crazy that you have to read the next book immediately or your brain is going to explode. And we all know how that feels because we're all sitting around waiting for some book in the next series to come out, right? For something that you love. And maybe this series is just kind of not like that. Like maybe if you spaced each book out, like your read by like 6 months, it would...
Yeah, as if they're dropping each year instead.
Yeah.
Kind of how they were doing.
Maybe that would make it more interesting to you because it wouldn't be like, and here we go again. And here we go again. And here we go. You know what I mean?
I just think that we shouldn't have to like try this hard.
Yeah.
To reason out why we feel the way we feel.
It's like a guy, guys. It's like, here's the dating advice. If you have to try this hard in the beginning, it's not going to get any easier. And that's how Harry Potter was for us. If you have to try this hard in the beginning, it's not going to get any easier.
Yeah, like we're sitting here, and I've been doing it all weekend, like thinking, well, maybe there's, if you look at it this way, maybe if you do it this way, maybe it's just not for us.
Yeah. He's just not that
and
into you.
I'm so glad if it worked for you, like we said at the beginning. And we're jealous, and it is what it is.
It is what it is. Well, do you have any last
final
words? Final words. Final words before we put this to bed.
I'm just as surprised as you guys, but it is what it is. It's time to move on.
It's time to move on.
Sprinkle, sprinkle.
Goodbye.
Dirt on the casket.
Throw the rose.
Morbid, but yeah. There you go.
Goodbye.
Any final words for you?
No. Nope.
Okay.
I was gonna say don't.
Bye.
Don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. Goodbye.
Yeah. Goodbye. See ya. Sayonara.
But okay, so here's the deal. Let's talk. Okay, so we're closing the Harry Potter door. This is like, in Nightmare Before Christmas when there's all the doors.
Yeah.
That's where we are right now.
I love that. So we're closing the Hogwarts castle on the tree.
Yep.
We are opening what should represent Twilight, Edward, and Jacob.
His
those
pompadour.
dudes.
It's just
His
a tree
pompadour.
with a
Just the
pompadour on the front.
Just the word spider monkey, because we know the reels and memes. We've seen these movies before, so we should preface it by saying that. A long time ago, we were forced by our significant others, believe it or not.
Which is hilarious to me. How is that real? It's like we
so
both
funny.
are married, to guys that are older than us, They're the ones who are like,
yeah,
you haven't seen Twilight? Let's watch Twilight.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was about 10 years ago for me. What about for you?
Mine was actually during the lockdown, during 2020.
Okay, so sooner. All right.
Yeah. So,
but we never got to read the books, you
Nope.
guys. They weren't banned. I didn't even know they existed. They weren't on my radar.
I think that they came out at the end of when we were finishing up high school and when we were starting college and trade school.
Yeah.
So I think it was that weird time when we were working a lot, going to school. We didn't have time to read extra stuff, I think that's what was going on at this time.
Yeah.
So and then by the time you graduate, you're like, oh, I forgot about it. You know what I mean? Then you just move on.
And then the movies came out and we're like, whoa, geez.
Yeah.
And the movies came out pretty soon after. That was
I don't know the timeline.
know.
But
anyways.
okay. So what we are planning on doing is, so before we were releasing the Fable chats as we were going along, we're not doing that this time. So if you guys follow us, over at Besties in the Books podcast on Instagram or Besties in the Book Club on Fable, you now know that we actually have all of the book club chats up right now. So that's for all 4 books. So that way, you guys can go in and chat with each other. You can join. And then once we start going, we'll be chatting with you guys as well. But it's all very read at your own pace, read at your own speed. We don't even put up the first podcast until basically almost the end of October, right?
Yeah, it's going to be a few weeks.
Yeah, it's going to be a few weeks. So, get a jump on it. Or maybe you just want to jump in for your favorite one in the series or whatever. It's all there. We have templates on Instagram in our highlight if you guys want to tag us in those and share your thoughts. That way we can reshare them. But yeah, it's just kind of like a choose your own adventure this time.
Yeah.
So go nuts. We're really, really excited about it.
Yeah.
I'm excited
all
about
right.
it. It's going to be
We're
fun.
excited. You guys, we're going to see you over there. Let's do it.
Let's do it. I think that about wraps it up, right? We don't have anything else to say about Twilight. I think I'm going to start here in the next couple days. I'm excited.
Yeah, it's time.
Yeah, it's time.
It is time.
We're still going to keep the same format as far as that goes, though, where we have the bonus episodes on Fridays. So Twilight on Fridays.
Bonus episodes Fridays. Musical instrument, ding-a-ling. The
Don't
5
say
sentence reviews.
ding-a-ling. Stop saying that. I can't.
Good luck.
Good luck.
I'm going to do it now.
So,
same unhinged book summaries. Not 100% accurate.
No.
We'll do our best.
We'll do our best.
Okay?
And our best is a C+.
Listen, our expectations with Twilight is different than Harry Potter. Harry Potter, we're expecting this epic, amazing, whatever. Our expectations with Twilight is cheesy.
Yep.
Teen romance. Let's just have some fun. Are we going to be surprised? Are we going to love it? Are we going to hate it?
We don't know.
We literally have no idea.
Yep.
So
Come join us.
Who knows?
Come along for the journey.
Yep. And also join us on Tuesdays, which are normal. So you might not see us here on Fridays, for a couple weeks, but we'll still be here every Tuesday bringing you our normal book podcast episodes, sometimes going over books, sometimes doing unhinged questions, which we might be filming right now that were user generated, and all of that fun stuff.
Yeah.
So join us there, follow us, Besties in the Books podcast, anywhere you like to listen to your favorite podcast, including YouTube.
And we'll see you there.
Guys, We'll see you next Tuesday.
See you next Tuesday.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.